Hi boys and girls, we're so glad for you and your families to join us for our very first Kids Time video. Since we can't be together, we're going to cover the Bible story we would have done today, March 22nd at Sunday school. I have a few announcements before we get into our Bible story. The first is this. Starting Monday, March 23rd at 11 a.m., I'm going to go live and read you a Bible story. I'm also going to read you one chapter a day from one of my very favorite all-time novels. It's called The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, written by C.S. Lewis. I love the story and I can't wait to share it with you. So starting Monday, March 23rd, I'm going to read to you from this book, the Jesus Storybook Bible. I'm going to tell you a story about Jesus and then I'm going to read you a chapter. I hope you can tune in every weekday at 11 a.m. on Facebook. My second announcement is this. Thursday, March 23rd, we're going to put up 3 videos for our Fuel Kids. There's going to be a video for our Cubbies, our Sparks, and our TNT. Look for those. I hope you enjoy them. Before we look at our Bible story today, we need to think about where we've been and what we've been talking about. We started this year in the middle of the Pentateuch. The Pentateuch is the first 5 books of the Bible: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. We started with Exodus. Moses had been called by God with a message for Pharaoh. Let my people go. And Moses led the people into the desert. They didn't want to listen to God, and their punishment for disobeying was to spend 40 years in the desert. Moses led them through that whole time. At the end of Deuteronomy, Moses died. And God had another leader prepared to take the Israelites, the children of God, into the promised land. You'll remember his name is, can you remember? If you said Joshua, you're right. God gave Joshua a special message. It's found in Joshua 1:9. It goes, "Have I not commanded you, be strong and courageous. Do not be terrified, do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." The next book of the Bible is Judges. Judges covers a 250-year time period when the people of Israel would go through this cycle over and over again. It's called the cycle of apostasy. Apostasy is a huge word that means to walk away from what you believe in. So when a leader would die, the people of Israel would forget God, disobey him, and turn away. God would be, okay, I'm going to remove my protection from you. When God removed his protection, the surrounding kingdoms would come in and attack the children of God. That's when they would remember God and call out for help. God would then raise up a new judge, somebody to lead the people. They would follow God for that time period, but when that judge died, the cycle would begin again. Judges is a really difficult time for the Israelites. But we learned in the next book about one godly family that followed God even in this time of darkness. They were faithful to God. The book is called Ruth. At the end of Ruth, Ruth herself marries a man named Boaz. And Ruth and Boaz are the great-great-grandparents of the person we're going to talk about today. After Ruth comes the first book of Samuel. Now, I told you last time we were together that Samuel was really, really big. But it was so big, it couldn't fit on one scroll. So they divided it into 2. So there's 1 Samuel and 2 Samuel. We looked at Samuel as a little boy. He lived and worked in the temple and learned how to listen to God. He would hear a message from God and tell it to the people. That's how Samuel became a prophet. As a prophet, Samuel anointed the first king of Israel. His name was Saul. King Saul had turned away from God, disobeying him and doing his own thing. So God was going to raise up a new king. Today, we're going to read out of this Jesus Storybook Bible, written by Sally Lloyd Jones and illustrated by Jago, published by Vonner Kids. We're on page 116, and it's called the teeny weeny true king. Samuel anoints David from 1 Samuel 16. God's people had a new land. Now they wanted a king. But God is your king, Samuel told them. He is the one who looks after your best. We want a real king, they said. One we can see. God knew that a king might not be kind to his people or look after them as well as he would. But God's people didn't care. They wanted a king, and they wanted him now. So God gave them a king. He was called Saul, and he seemed like a good king. At first, he became proud and stopped listening to God. He didn't obey God or love God with his whole heart. Saul can't help me with my plan, God said. I need a king who will love me and will teach my people to love me. I need a true king. God had just the one in mind. Go to Bethlehem, God told Samuel. You'll find the new king there. Samuel's job was to listen to God and tell the people what God said. So Samuel went to the little town of Bethlehem. God told Samuel to go to Jesse's house. God was going to choose one of Jesse's sons to be the new king. Jesse had 7 sons. Now in those days, if you were going to be a king, you didn't need to be the richest or the cleverest. Although that was always nice. You had to look like a king, which meant you had to be the tallest and the strongest, so you could carry the longest sword and the biggest armor and defeat everyone. And it didn't hurt to be handsome either. Samuel asked Jesse to bring him each son in turn. So Jesse brought the oldest, the tallest, and the strongest son. This must be the new king, Samuel thought. He looks like a king. But God didn't choose him. You're thinking about what he looks like on the outside, God told Samuel. But I'm looking at his heart, what he's like on the inside. So Jesse showed Samuel the next oldest, tallest, strongest son. But God didn't choose him either. In fact, God didn't choose any of the 7 sons. Samuel said, "Is that all?" Jesse laughed. "Oh, well, there's the youngest one, but he's just the weakling of the family. He's only teeny." "Bring him," said Samuel. Jesse's youngest son came running up, and God spoke quietly to Samuel. "This is the one." His name was David. "He has a heart like mine," God said. "It is full of love. He will help me with my secret rescue plan. And one of his children's children's children will be the king. And that king will rule the world forever." Samuel anointed David's head with oil, which was a special way to show that you are God's chosen king. "You will be the new king one day," Samuel told him. And sure enough, when he grew up, David became king. God chose David to be king because God was getting his people ready for an even greater king who was coming. Once again, God would say, "Go to Bethlehem. You'll find the new king there." And there, one starry night in Bethlehem, in the town of David, 3 wise men would find him. We're going to learn more about David on our next Kids Time video. For now, I have a challenge. We learned about David being anointed king. And what do kings wear? Crowns. So I gathered everyone in my house and we made crowns. This was one of them. I made this one out of tinfoil and some stickers I found. It's pretty cool too. And then Alex made this one out of cardboard. I like how he added these color bits at the top. So this is your challenge. What kind of crown could you make? With help from your family, gather some supplies, maybe some tin foil or some cardboard, Make sure you have permission before you use it. And make a crown. With an adult's help, take a picture of it and then leave it as a comment below, or they can upload it to the Facebook group for North Grenville Community Church, or leave it as a comment in the Fuel chat. Those are 3 ways that you can share your creations with me. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you have made. I'm going to see all of the pictures. I can't wait. So that ends our first Kid Time video. I hope you had a good time. I can't wait to see you again. Adults, before you go, I want to let you know we've added some resources to go with today's video. Questions that you can talk to your child about based on 1 Samuel chapter 16. Also, don't forget, March 23rd, I'm going to start my first Facebook Live Storytime reading at 11 a.m. See you soon. Bye, friends!